Hi, hopefully we're coming through loud and clear for y'all. Welcome. If this is your first time tuning into Diversity Saves charity stream, I'm just going to jump into it because we're a little bit behind. They are a 501c3 nonprofit organization made up of passionate BIPOC, LGBTQIA+, neurodivergent, and disabled TTRPG creators, actors, and fans who wanted to create a name and a means to amplify voices not only in the community but in the works we consume across the industry. They are committed to promoting and uplifting marginalized communities in the tabletop role-playing industry, and with the funding from donors, like we're seeking here today and this weekend from this charity stream, they do grants for marginalized creators, provide TTRPG supplies and materials to educational and recreational centers to promote education and creative exploration, and uplift voices by providing a platform for underrepresented creators to promote diversity and inclusion. And so far, their grant program has given $7,000 back to the community to bring projects to life. End scene. So that is the spiel of why we're here today. We're here to help boost diversity saves in this weekend of fundraising with the charity stream. We personally, those of us here on camera that you currently see, are here to play in a system called TV the RPG, which is an indie system designed to play like a movie, an episodic show, a serial short series like the British like to do all the time with the like 2 or 3 parters, those kinds of things. So it may look a little bit different than you're used to if you're coming from the 5e space. It's very loosey-goosey, so we're gonna have a ton of fun today. In particular, we're playing in the style of an early 2000s medical serial drama. So if you are familiar with things like General Hospital, Grey's Anatomy, House, Night Shift, all of those, we will be playing something along those lines. Um, I myself, being the GM, DM, director, whatever the heck you want to call for today's one shot, I'm Kayla Bayens. If you've been around here with us before, you probably recognize me. If you were here for last year's Haunted Holidays charity stream series, you might remember that I did the Gobble Gobble Boil and Trouble game. That ended up being a coming out story via magic. Um, so we're gonna have a ton of fun here today. I do freelance for TTRPGs. I also am the general manager for Underground Oracle Publishing, which if you don't know them, you should check them out. We do a crazy number of products and pushes for being only 3 people. Um, and with that, I am going to take a breath and also let the other people here, our players tonight, introduce themselves. Because our calls all have us in different orders, I'm going to call them out for everyone. So I am going to kick it over to Kit if you would like to introduce yourself and plug your things. I know, I got you off guard there. I saw it the second I said it.
I was looking at Twitch and I was like, surely I'm safe. Incorrect. Hi guys, I'm Kit. You can find me most places on the internet at Kit Roll, they, them, if you'd be so kind. I've had a pretty light streaming schedule recently, but if you care to see what I'm up doing, find me on the socials. They're here somewhere. Um, are we doing character stuff, God? Uh,
You can if you want, but we'll also have an intro moment for characters as
okay,
well
bet. Then
at the beginning.
I'll leave it a secret. I'll keep you guessing.
And then I'll go ahead and say we're tossing it over to Glenn.
Hey there, Gamesinabunker, aka Glenn. You can find me on pretty much all the socials, except the bad one, the really bad one. I'm no longer there, but it's Gamesinabunker, pretty much everywhere. I've been playing for 40 plus years. I have been running a series of retail game stores for 18 years. I run a lot of games online. I run a lot of different games, and I run professionally at conventions for publishers like Free League, Wet Ink, Modifius, Mongoose, and all sorts of stuff like that. So that's me. And any all pronouns work just fine for me.
Awesome. And then we'll go ahead and toss it over to Marlon.
Hello, everybody. How's everybody doing? My name's Marlon. He, him, but any pronoun's fine. You can call me what you like. Just call me. I am a voice actor, and host. This is actually my first time doing an actual play. And I am apparently approaching it with the energy of a young, drugged-up Rowan Williams. You can find me on Roof Social, not Truth Social. It's a social media group for roofs. I'm just kidding. You can just find me on the usual social media stuff. The links will be in the chat. And happy to be here.
Awesome. And last but certainly not least, we'll toss it over to Adam.
Hey there. I'm not going to have the same level of energy, but I'll come in with a little bit. I am Adam. You can find me all over the place at Adam5GMs. I am a founder and current cast member and editor of 5 Gyms and a Church Goat, an award-winning and award-nominated podcast, actual play podcast at that. This is not my first time doing anything like this. I do stuff like this all the time. I love it. It's a great time. I've won awards doing it. I was around these parts for Hispanic Heritage Month. I ran a game. It was a good time. I love Diversity Saves. This is an awesome thing that we get to do here, and we're so blessed. So excited.
Awesome. And voice from above, Nekola, is there anything that you need to say or add before we get rolling? I don't think she was expecting me to call her out. They do exist. Sorry, deep cut, deep commercial cut. So thank you for joining us. So like I said, we'll be playing TV, the RPG, just so you all can get orientated a little bit and aren't super confused with what's going on. Quick background on the system. If you've caught my other TV, the RPG systems, this is where I would cut to a video of me in a fake mustache trying to balance a top hat on my headphones explaining the system to you. Instead, I'm going to give you the shortened version. So since it plays like a TV show or a movie, our stats are genres. So there's action, drama, mystery, comedy. Those are what you roll with. You only roll with a d20, and then you add the appropriate bonuses and stats. On top of the genre bonuses that could be added, you can also get bonuses for props or how related to a scene you are. That could give you an additional bump to maybe get you over if you have decided to do comedy and maybe aren't great at comedy. And you need some help getting there. For initiative, if we do ever get to initiative in this game, it is based off of cards. I have cards here. I'll draw them and then I'll track the initiative for our players. For those who are a little bit more familiar with our standard, maybe big heavy hitters like Pathfinder or 5e, we do not have HP. We do not have AC here. Instead, what we have is something called plot points and plot armor. So how relevant to the story or the tale that we are telling they are. Think of plot points kind of like HP, in that if you lose all of it, then you're donezo. So don't lose all of it. Each player today also has something called a BS point. Let's be real, the system calls it a backstory point. We all know what the BS point actually stands for. But it gives the players an opportunity while we're playing live to add, augment, change something in their backstory to make them more relevant to the scene to try and get a bonus for whatever they might be doing. This might be if it was like an action western, you being like, oh my gosh, the lead bandit is my ex. And then suddenly you become a lot more related to the current scene going on and you get the full +3 bonus for that. Other than that, that's a quick rundown. You will see how it runs. It's pretty quick and easy. It is very much story driven first, mechanics light. So we will get rolling. Oh, and if you are wanting to look into the system, TV the RPG is by Little Red Goblin Games, and it is available on Drive-Thru RPG if you are interested. Other than that, we'll hop right in. So if you're joining us, you know that we are doing the medical serial drama. So I'm going to get into a little narration bit here to set the scene, and I will try not to laugh through any of it, but I did include puns, so it's gonna be real hard not to laugh when we get to them. So the scene is set for the perfect storm brewing in the city. The city has been practically shut down with the massive wave of people in town for the annual Beat the Heat Marathon. There have been minor earthquakes all weekend, a buzz of something strange in the exam room swirling around. This is your first week at Vegas Hart Hospital, and you've been placed in the ER to earn your stripes. Placed under the care of Dr. Hottenstoof and Dr. O Mama, you'll be put in charge, or you'll be put through the challenges of not just medicine, but perhaps the smoldering gaze of one of your mentors, or maybe a hot medic, or maybe a fellow doctor in training, or maybe the heat of the emergency all falling on your head at once, waiting for you to make the life and death calls. Only the heart can tell what will happen at Hart Hospital. Because we had to have a little bit of cheese in there. So as we enter into the ER, with the doctors filing in to start their first shift of the ER at Hart Hospital, we're going to go ahead and pan through our characters, standing with the group of doctors in training. Dr. Diaz, what do they see when the camera pans to your character?
All right. So, firstly, Dr. Diaz is a below 6 foot, I'd probably say like 5'9", 5'10", sturdily built man with a really just shy of a buzz cut, short cut. His hair is kind of cut down to that length. I think he has a nice tan. I believe we are in Nevada. Am I mistaking that? Is that
Yes,
the city?
Vegas Art
Yeah, we're in
Hospital.
Vegas. I think that when he can, he soaks up that Nevada sun, that desert sun, and so he is on the darker side of fair when it comes to a Hispanic's tan. And yeah, he is just kind of your simple brooding force in the ER, and he just kind of scans the room constantly because you're in the ER and you know something's gonna go terribly.
Mhm. And the camera spans past Dr. Diaz as the doctors kind of move past, following Dr. Hottenstuff and Dr. O'Mama as they entered the ER, and lands on Dr. Foster's banana. Do you want to introduce what your character looks like?
Yes, you're watching Dr. F. Bananas, Foster to his friends, walking down the hallway with a clipboard on which important writing is undoubtedly written. He's sort of a huskier gentleman. I'd say he looks pretty much like the 80s ideal aesthetic of an action hero, very thick around the waist. We're talking like a Kylo Ren thickness of the waist. He seems like a guy who wears his jeans very, very high, and he's in jeans, just classy denim jeans, and a very high collared, sort of like an open collar shirt with buttons a bit too far down, a little bit of hair just peeking through, and about a 7 o'clock shadow, if you can imagine that. Sort of like not quite a beard, but like getting quite dark there. Real windswept hair, which comes down to not a mullet, but it sort of looks like one, but he kind of makes it classy. And he's wearing, of course, his doctor's white coat over the whole thing, and he's just striding down the hallway, like looking at signs and things.
Awesome. And then standing off to the left of Dr. Bananas, our camera lands on Dr. Aegon. Dr. Aegon, do you want to explain what your character looks like?
Dr. Agan is about 6.5 feet tall, pretty muscular, wearing his camel fatigue pants and buzz cut. Very serious look on his face, but also behind those eyes is a bit of confusion. Not entirely sure how he became a doctor, but he's here to do the job. And when it comes down to the wire, he's the one you're going to want to go to.
Awesome. And then kind of trailing a little bit aloof in the back of the group, is our last doctor, Dr. Fallon. Do you want to describe your character?
Absolutely. So Dr. Fallon form is about probably 5'8" with the heels because they always wear heels in these things. We've got the nice slacks, we've got the sweater that again they all seem to be wearing in these things. The white coat that is like tailored at the waist for some reason. It's a look, it's a vibe. She's got the stethoscope tucked in the pocket, so you know she's like super chill and casual. Um, and I think she's trailing behind, paying more attention to like the goings on around her. Doesn't seem to want to be in this ER rotation specifically, but you know, the job takes you where you need to go. Yeah, looking a little distracted, I think.
Awesome. And then as the camera spins around Dr. Fallon and moves back through the doctor group, it focuses on the two mentors who are kind of giving the general ER spiel of like, don't kill anybody, listen to the people supervising you, please don't kill anybody. The general be a good doctor and maybe don't, order like 20 cc's of morphine or something for anybody. Like the general things. Dr. Hot and Stuff is probably a, we'll say 6'5", has that kind of hairstyle that looks messy, but is like too manicured messy to be actual messy. Like the purposeful messy. Kind of has a little bit of hair coming down that just barely gets in his eyes. Um, he has black rimmed glasses on. Um, but it's definitely those glasses that look like maybe they're not like glasses. You know, the ones from TV shows where you're like, there's no glare there. You don't have anything there. Um, he's in a lab coat and he's kind of just like calling out names and taking attendance. And Dr. O Mama to his right is a shorter, probably 5'2", kind of almost built like a power lifter, which is probably why she's in the ER in the first place, because you gotta be able to toss some patients around real quick. She is in a full set of almost like that awkward aquamarine, light green, teal colored scrubs that seem to be in every ER TV show ever. Her stethoscope is around her neck, and she just looks like she's so done waiting for Dr. Hot and Stuff to like finish reading attendance. Like as soon as he's done, she cuts it and she's like, "Okay, look, we're gonna assign you all to bays. As the cases come in, we're gonna send them to the bay. You take care of them. Please do not kill anybody tonight. I don't want the paperwork. It's you just gotta get through the week. That's all that I ask. At least 1 week before anything terrible happens here. So you remember all of your classes. If you don't know what you're doing or don't know what to call, grab one of us who do. And good luck. You're probably gonna have some interesting stories by the end. And she just like immediately turns around and walks into that little central space in the ER where all of the like admin things are happening and starts pulling charts and taking notes and things, and just leaving you in the care of Dr. Hottenstuff, who's getting ready to give you like more instructions right as you hear a bunch of crashing and rushing sounds happening, like the sounds of ambulance doors being thrown open and gurneys being pulled into the hospital. We are going to pause for a second there because I do want to remind our audience there are some fun things you can do to the players um, with your donations. So this is an ER room. They will have to be dealing with patients and complications. But you can also make them have to deal with severe emergency situations, like, I don't know, an earthquake, or I don't know, like a semi pileup on the highway, or I don't know, like a trampling situation at the marathon that's going on. All of these things could be yours for the low, low price of a donation to Diversity Saves. So if you follow that donations link for Diversity Saves that got dropped by Streamlabs in the chat, you will see all of the donation incentives for this stream that are available. That includes giving bonuses to a character, adding rumors about the doctors because everyone knows some things they think about each other, which we'll get to in a second. Minor complications, which might be a patient crashing, things like that, that might make helping the patient a little bit more difficult. You can grant rerolls to multiple characters. You can add an NPC to the scene if you decide you want to add a complication in the way of maybe like suddenly a hot medic comes into the ER, or someone that you definitely know that probably shouldn't be in charge of the care comes into the ER, things of that nature. You can also cause major complications. And additional emergencies, like I mentioned, if you guys wanted to add earthquakes and things, that is a donation option I have made for you. Add to the chaos that will be chaotic already. You'll also see, if you follow that donation incentives to the page, that you also get some fun things for donating at certain tiers. Things like the Wormlings RPG, things like Adventure Awaits, which is an adventure anthology, things like a ton of maps, and tomes of the dungeons PDF and things like that. So go check that out, donate. Nekola is on standby to tell me what chaos you cause. I'm here for it. If we hit let's say if we hit $100, I will cause mass disaster to occur for our doctors to try and handle. That's my goal for the moment. If we hit past that, we'll have some fun with them, guys. This may turn chaotic very quickly, but I'm here for it because we are here to earn those donations. So let's have some fun. So as the Gertie and the ambulance workers run in to the ER, you see there is a one of the ambulance workers is like actively like on the gurney doing like CPR to the patient that's on there. Dr. Hot and Stuff and Dr. Omama like rush over there and start like examining the patient. You hear like being called by the medic that's currently doing CPR on there, and be like, they got in a car crash, flew through the windshield. They went into cardiac arrest in the ambulance on the way here. We got delayed because of the marathon, and they're just like continuing CPR as they get pulled into the bay. Dr. Omama like shouts at you guys to come over and starts like arranging you all to help move the patient from the transportation gurney to the bed so you all can start working on them. And the medic is still fully on their like continuing chest compressions and administering that as like everyone's buzzing around. So this I will set up kind of like an encounter. So every patient is going to have a way for you to help them. I will be setting DCs for what is wrong with them. And then the overall patient will have their own set of plot points that if you get them gone, they will die. So don't get them gone. Probably the best advice I can give to you because you were told many times, don't kill anyone. So you do hear instructions being shouted out about medication. You are doctors. I'm not gonna assume you, the players, have medical knowledge and are as obsessed with medical serial dramas as I am. So I'm not gonna make you tell me exactly what you're doing. But we are gonna go around and you all are gonna tell me how you are helping or how you want to try and help. with assisting with this patient to make sure you all can get them out of cardiac arrest and back on the path to being, you know, awake and breathing. So, we're gonna go in reverse order from how we introduced the characters. So, Dr. Fallon, what are you doing as they're just working away on this?
Oh, wonderful. I think first things first, while the emergency response team is still doing compressions, get the bag, get some air going in there. Probably yelling at some nurse to get, uh like portable x-rays. This guy got thrown through a window, so
Windshield. So yeah.
a windshield, yeah. Something is broken and we can't start a heart if there's a hole in it. So let's see if we can find other things that are broken. Um, I don't know if they'll listen to me, but I'm acting like they will.
So, I will go ahead and then say you're being dramatic.
That tracks.
Yeah, that tracks. So give me a dramatic roll, a drama roll, and we'll see how it goes for this patient.
Alrighty. No whammies. That is a 19.
Awesome. Yeah, that is good. Because you have noticed that they have, as you're doing this, you hear like the sound that of them with the bag isn't quite right. They in fact have a punctured lung. Is one of the things that they have happening. And so you've discovered that, so you can start working to solve that here on the next go around. But in the meantime, Dr. Agan, what are you doing to assist with this patient?
Dr. Agan is a man of action, and seeing that we need to get this patient off the gurney and into an actual hospital bed. I don't want to interrupt this medic that is currently performing CPR, so I'll be lifting both of them from the gurney to the bed.
Okay. Yeah, so that would definitely be an action roll. So give me that action roll.
That is a nat 20, so that is a 27.
Nice. Yes. So you do it, no problem. And actually, while you're doing it, you do recognize that they have several bleeding lacerations along their upper back, and neck area. So you suspect that they probably, in addition to whatever Dr. Fallon has found, probably also have a broken neck from the trauma sustained around that area.
Excellent. So violent moving of them was the right thing to do.
It works. They're not dead at the moment, and they're in the bed now.
Fine.
It's a TV show. It's probably fine. My dad yells at the TV over their back stuff all the time.
You actually moved it back where it goes, so it's fine.
Yeah, it's fine. Dr. Foster, we'll get to you. Before you tell us what you do, we do want to shout out River Seas, who gave a donation to give a +2 bonus to Dr. Bananas, to use on one of their roles.
Well, thank you very much, River Seas. That's very nice. Dr. Foster Bananas is going to command everyone to stand back. Stand back, everyone! Now, I've heard about these cases before. What this gent needs... It is a gent, right? Is it a gent?
Right. I don't know. I didn't say.
What this fella needs is a full analysis. All the spectrums of radiation. He's going to rub his hands together and apply tactical Reiki. Because, as you may know, Dr. Bananas has a PhD in unconventional medicine. So he's really feeling along the energy and like ley lines that this guy is putting out. It's like, all right, yes, I see, very interesting.
So with this, I'm going to assume you're being dramatic.
Oh yes.
So go ahead and give me a drama roll.
That's a -1 to drama. Wait, no, I do have a 1 to drama. Let's go. Whoa. That's a 9 all up.
Okay. Uh, I will preface this with if that's a 9 without the +2 bonus, this might be a good time for that +2 bonus.
Yeah, sure, I'll use the +2 bonus.
Awesome. So as you're doing your whole Reiki feel down of this patient, you get to around their like rib area and discover that they have several broken ribs.
Okay.
And with the call out from Dr. Fallon of them having a punctured lung, and the call out from Dr. Agan about them possibly having a broken neck, you do put together that these broken ribs are probably the thing that caused the punctured lung. Because seatbelt guys, they're just as deadly sometimes, if you're of a certain height. Um, because they were tested on men. Um, so, uh, you managed to not make the punctured lung situation worse, and instead have discovered what has possibly caused it and thereby where the puncture in the lung most likely is, for you all to start dealing with that. So I will say, for the punctured lung situation, when we get to dealing with that, I will give bonuses to that since a couple of things have happened where it kind of coordinates together. So you all know the location, a little bit more information about the injury itself. With that, we will toss it over to Dr. Diaz. With all this shouting going on and movement, what are you doing with the patient?
Um, so after all of that, when we hit like everyone's doing regular doctor stuff, we hit Reiki and Dr. Diaz, I can't believe they let someone like you work here. And I'm gonna walk, and I'm going to begin getting nurses uh getting everything ready with everything that they shared to us. So my goal is to just prep immediate surgery. Clearly,
Mhm,
what's going on here, we can't fix here. They need to
mhm.
get into surgery. Punctured lung, broken ribs, broken neck. If I can, if the neck's not stabilized, I'll stabilize the neck. And obviously CPR is still being given. So unless, yeah, I think that's just our best option is to begin passing this off. This is beyond us.
Yes. So you are working on stabilizing and moving to surgery. Um, I'm going to assume that's probably most likely a drama role, unless you want to pitch a different stat that you think you have a little bit better in.
I think that he might do it more as a mystery role where he walks away from his the other interns
Mhm,
because he thinks he knows what he's doing. He doesn't need their help. He doesn't need them to hear, and he's gonna
mhm.
walk away and begin doing things without them.
Yes, the aloof doctor. I will
Yeah.
allow it.
Oh, wonderful. Okay, I rolled a natural 19, and then I get my mystery bonuses. If I can go to the thing, I have numbers. Okay, it's gonna be a 24.
Awesome. Yes. So you get all of that together, and you get the surgery team prepping for the OR1 to get the patient in to deal with the punctured lung. And you can, as you do that, they start rolling the bed itself just straight to the elevator, to help with that. As they disappear into the helicopter elevator. I almost combined the words elevator and helicopter there for a second. It's going great, guys. Uh, and disappear. Um, I will say I'm going to have, this is just for funsies. Um, everyone to roll one more d20 for me, just in case terrible, terrible rolls happen. Because we're going to use these to see what happens to the patient while they're in surgery, since you all are in the ER and not in the OR surgery room with the patient. And I'm just like that.
We'll say as they're wheeling this guy off to surgery, Fallon just looks wistfully towards the OR doors. That's where all the action is.
Awesome. So everyone roll me a d20 and then I'll just go down and see what it is and we'll see what happens to our dear, dear patient?
It's a 13. Oh, do I add anything?
No, just a straight
Okay.
D20 for this.
Are
13.
you sure?
Mm-hmm.
Sure about that?
It's probably fine.
It's probably fine.
That's a 7.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
10.
And I got an 8.
Mm.
Solid.
It's going great.
Solid.
Yeah, totally going great for you guys.
This is what happens when they don't let me in the OR. That's all I'm saying. I can fix him.
So we'll get to the status of that patient later.
That patient was alive when we sent him upstairs.
This is true.
Not like anyone moved him with a broken neck. That didn't happen. So
Does the surgery count as fixing the punctured lung, and do we get the bonus for that? For this, or is that for a different?
I hate
Did
to
he have
break
to
it to
survive
you.
this?
You don't get surgeon bonuses as an ER doc.
It's just a thought.
But yeah, so after a few moments, the elevator dings again, and the medic that had not gotten off of the patient is back on the ground floor and coming back into the ER. You see now that the medic is probably 5'7", short, almost like reddish blonde hair, is in one of those like fake pompadour type things. Like it's just long enough to kind of like do one of those. And they have that big bulky EMT jacket on that everyone has even in the summer. And they are taking off their blue gloves from having now finished with whatever they were doing. And then they just kind of like flick their hair back, even though nothing is in their face, because they have to have that like slow-mo moment as they step off of the elevator back in. And they head over to start doing paperwork at the little round center part. You all have a brief moment of peace to breathe. And Dr. Omama looks at you all and is like, well, didn't kill anyone yet, so good job. And like walks off screen. um,
I
with-
like them. They're a straight shooter. They
Yeah.
don't beat around the bush.
I
So,
almost
how are we
picture
feeling,
them-
team?
I almost picture Dr. Omama like the main lady from Grey's Anatomy seasons like 1 through 6. If you know, you know. There you go. So what would you all like to do with this moment before ER nonsense pops up again?
I'm going to put down my my chart, which actually just has my lunch order written on it, and I turn to my fellow doctors and I ask them, so, debrief. What could we have done better? Because saving lives is our business, and if we're not in tip-top condition, well, it's all going to go pear-shaped.
just feel like I have to keep reminding everybody that we're not rock stars. Not everyone's gonna save the day all the time. Just do your part. Right?
Absolutely.
Says the guy who walked away in the middle of a patient.
Yeah,
Are we gonna talk
did-
about that, or
I did the part that no one was doing, getting him where he was going. You know? I got that set up.
right?
You know,
Who's doing the part about communicating that to the team?
You guys seem busy. I think he was trying to do magic. I'm not sure.
Whoa now! Reiki is a very well-established science. I'll have you know I studied it for many years.
How
In
many?
fact, all of my medical treatments have been proven repeatedly, and I'll happily show you the receipts. Now you cowboys with your conventional medicine may not like it, but damn it, I get results.
I don't think you do. I would be honest. I would love to see the receipts, please. All the journals, all the medical articles. Just go ahead and send them my way.
Well, they're more manifestos, if I'm being honest. But, yes. Listen,
Right.
Dr.
Yeah.
Fallon agrees with me, surely.
Dr. Form, please.
Sorry, Dr. Form.
Thank you.
I think
Where'd
most
you
of you
say you
are
went
reading
to
the
med
real
school
reason to be a doctor, though. And Dr. Agon is going to walk over to that EMT and be like, pretty good form on those chest compressions there.
And they don't even like glance up from the forms they're filling out, but you could see like that like half smirk happen. And they're like, yeah, I mean, hopefully it helps. They did not look great, but I got them in and they did not die on my watch. So
For the folks at home,
Chalk it up as a
EMT,
win.
hot?
yes.
Okay, cool.
And
Just had to establish that.
when they say at least they didn't die on my watch, they knowingly glance over to where Dr. Omama is. Like they've done this whole like new doctor thing with Dr. Omama's speech of don't kill anyone before.
I come in as a professional third wheel, and I say, just out of curiosity, how many people have died on Dr. Omama's watch?
At this, they do pause the paperwork they're doing and look at you and do that very cartoonish, like, blink, blink, blink reaction at you. And they're like, you do realize you're currently in an ER. Like, you don't come to the ER if you have the sniffles.
No, that would be ridiculous. What you need there, if you've got the sniffles, is about half a pound of beeswax and some echinacea and about 5 different essential oils. I can write you a script later. All right, my work here is done. And I walk back around to Dr. Form.
And they just kind of like chuckle at that and they look at Dr. Aga and they're like, good luck with that. They just start working on paperwork again. And at that moment, you do hear another ambulance pull up into the bay, and they do push through the doors. This one seems a little bit less. It does have someone pushing it and someone holding an IV bag off to the side as they're running alongside the gurney. And you do hear Dr. Hot and stuff assign them to Bay 1, and they say, Dr. Form, Dr. Bananas, Bay 1, now!
Get your crystals ready, kid.
Right behind
I run
that
over.
bed, another one comes, and Dr. Hot and stuff sends them to Bay 2 and calls out to Dr. Aegon and Dr. Diaz to head to Bay 2.
Oh, thank God I have the real doctor.
Yeah, it could have been a lot worse.
Fallon just gives you this dirty look, and then the curtain closes.
So, Dr. Form, Dr. Bananas, as the EMTs are helping you get them transferred onto the bed, you're kind of given the general rundown that they called in thinking that they were having a heart attack. They do have an abnormal heart rhythm going on, but they do seem stabilized. They started monitoring. They looked a little dehydrated, so they started the IV to start getting fluids into them. Their O2 stats looked borderline okay. And that was all the information they give you as they like help you set up, and then the nurses kind of step in for the EMTs as they leave to start helping you all manage however you want to tell them to do it. So Dr. Form, what do you want to do with the patient? You and Dr. Bananas are the only two in here who are doctors and not nurses.
I think Dr. Form's gonna sort of take a step back and let Dr. Bananas handle the patient interaction sort of situation. Just sort of step back into the massive nurses. Like, can you prep a 12 lead? I have a feeling we're gonna need one. Just sort of let Foster's do whatever he's gonna do.
Dr. Bananas looks at the IV line and at the IV bag. And he's like, saline, those bloody fools. There's not a single essential oil in here. Oh well. Time for extreme measures. And he pulls out his homemade acupuncture kit, which is a nail gun. And he says, all right, time to find these meridians.
Okay, we all know who's gonna end up killing a patient tonight. I'm sorry, nail gun.
It's
I
gonna
mean,
be
it's not
me
actually
after
nails.
Foster's becomes a patient because of what some patient does to him.
Foster's actually going to look at this, like put it right against the patient's forehead and then go, no, too easy. Holster the nail gun again, and then start looking for signs of like general trauma around the heart area.
Okay.
About 75% of the way through paging Dr. Omama. Like,
There you go, bye.
help, come pick me up.
I like to also think that because hospitals don't keep up with things, as we know from them running Windows 98 and the bleeding heart incident, that they have the old school pagers that are like
Oh,
super
chunky.
bulky.
Oh yeah, I operate on like a PDA. If y'all remember those, that's sort of where we're
The
at.
BlackBerry.
Yeah, we're still in 2004. We've always been in 2004.
We've never left.
We've never left. How long has it been? 2004.
I personally trust my Nokia.
Mm,
It gets the job done.
Honestly, I'd still trust a Nokia. Not gonna
Yeah.
lie.
Those things
That's
could-
maybe the most based in science thing you've said all night.
that the Nokia will always survive.
Yeah,
So
am I trying to? How do I find out? Like, I'm actually trying to because I
Mhm.
have a PhD in unconventional medicine, but I
Yeah.
do
Right.
have a master's in conventional medicine. You have to study the one before you get to study the other. So I am trying to figure out if there's like any arrhythmia or any other kind of heart defect or defect within the pulse or blood
Mhm.
pressure.
So, since you are trying to figure things out, I will allow either A, mystery, because that's kind of like the brainy stat, or B, comedy, because fun fact, folks, comedy is how you heal each
true.
other in
Laughter
this
is the best
game.
medicine.
Wait, really?
In this
Laughter is
game.
the best medicine.
It kind of is.
Is it possible to offer an item bonus to another player in the same scene?
I'll allow it.
Because I did tell a nurse to prep a 12 lead,
Mhm.
which I feel like an EKG is where we're heading with this. Could that perhaps be persuaded to be an item
Yeah.
bonus?
So I will give that +2 because of what you were told by the EMTs as they brought the patients in. And what Dr. Bananas is attempting to do. That would be helpful to figure out if something's going on with the heart.
Right.
A gift to you. Please don't kill them.
Don't worry, Dr. Form. Despite the unquestionable sexual tension between us, I'm a professional. And I'm
Right.
doing my job, damn it. Now, here's the thing. I don't exactly know how this works, but I have area of expertise unconventional medicine, and I have my MacGuffin, which is an extra prop bonus. And my MacGuffin is my homemade acupuncture kit. So I'm
I
going
love
to try
it. It's terrifying, but I love it.
I'm going to try and find the meridian. Now, these aren't actual nails. These are like acupuncture needles, and it's designed not to shoot them straight through. Like the force has been calibrated.
Okay, because
'Cause
that's why I was terrified. I was like, do you
Yeah.
realize the force of a nail gun?
I'm a lunatic, but I'm not an idiot. Like I've basically, it's like, let me ratchet this up, and I was like, and I work. It's got like adjustable pressure settings because it works on a compressed air kind of principle.
How do you
So
keep that
it's
thing
nice.
sterile? Just never mind.
What?
There are so many questions we
again?
don't ask in medical dramas. One of them is how do you keep things sterile?
It's
Oh,
all sterile.
sterilization, very important. Brings out a little tincture bottle of eucalyptus oil, dips it in. All right. Boom. Boom, baby. That's a 19 on the die. Was that a comedy?
Yes.
And plus my
Plus
prop bonus, plus my MacGuffin. Yeah.
I can't
Yeah.
believe it worked.
So, you do see that they are having some heart arrhythmia. Don't ask me to spell that because it is not spelt the way you say it. um, they also seem to be having the typical like shortness of breath going on. They at least look on the older side. You all haven't really taken a patient history yet, so I can't confirm that. So they do look to be on the older side. They do look like maybe they are some sort of physical labor worker. So they are in fact probably having some sort of heart situation, whether or not it's a full-on heart attack is still yet to be determined by you all because you're the doctors. You tell me.
Any insights as to whether I should call it as a heart attack?
At the very least, it is an issue with electrical signals in the heart, so it's not beating properly. But it seems to be more the type where it is beating too slow, which is probably why they are having shortness of breath and like the blood's not pumping properly through their body, therefore the oxygen's not reaching their body as well.
Dr. Form, what's your prognosis? You think we should shoot him up with a little bit of adrenaline? Get that ticker kicking?
Great idea. We're gonna put a button in that 1 second. Turn to the patient. Is he awake, coherent,
Yes,
talking and stuff?
he
Okay.
is awake and mostly as coherent as someone who seems to be having heart
He's having a
problems
moment
is.
for
Yeah.
sure, but Dr. Form's just going to ask, basic rundown. Are you on any medication? Have you ever had any sort of pacemaker? Anything that would be affecting this? If you took a Tylenol this morning, I want to know.
Yeah, so it seems like they probably take, oh, I'm blanking on which is the super generic one that everyone takes for blood pressure.
Aspirin? That's not blood pressure.
No, I don't think but the little generic white one that everyone takes for blood pressure before they get on actual blood pressure medication. Um They do also say that they probably have been having issues on and off at work. You do find out that they are, in fact, do some sort of physical labor as part of their job, and that recently, when they've been doing some more of the strenuous part of, let's say, construction work, that they have been having a little bit of that shortness of breath and that weird tight feeling in their chest that they're currently having. I'm not gonna make you guys make a medical diagnosis. That's real. You can just tell me what you think it is, and we can roll and go from there.
I think this guy's got a bum ticker. I think he probably ate something that disagreed with him, maybe?
You had
When was
me
the
in
last
first
time you
half.
ate?
Let me
Not my
roll.
question.
5 hours ago.
5 hours ago. This man has the rumbly in his tumbly. I'm going to need a cheese sandwich, stat!
And maybe we
Wait.
do get those pressers.
Any gluten intolerances?
No, but I am lactose intolerant.
Hold the cheese. 2 slices of bread.
I like to think the patient is like, no, but I'm lactose intolerant. So I will allow a roll here, to assist the patient to a stable condition. Um, I will allow either of you to make the roll, because you are both working together and have done the EKG and all of that. You will get, we'll say a +2 bonus for it. And we can help figure out what's going on with this patient from there. I will say I will probably give another bonus for a mystery roll if someone wants to attempt to suss out what's going on with the patient using that. So take that however you will.
I could
How's your
suss out a
mystery,
mystery.
Dr. Form?
I could suss out a mystery roll. I
Let's do
think
it.
this fool's lying to us. I think he's on some bigger sort of medication. He doesn't want to admit to it, or he forgot his meds, something. Like I feel like he's lying to me.
Mhm.
I wanna assess the sort of situation a little bit deeper.
Yeah.
Maybe this guy goes in jail. Okay, with my mystery, and then you said there's a +2
So
for.
I'll +2 because you guys have done the work to try and do the EKG and things like that. And I will allow another +1 because there are 2 doctors here working together to do it. So a total of +3 to it.
Okay, so
Can I
that's a
give her an assist?
The additional +1
Okay.
is the assist for me
All right,
having
sure.
another doctor
much
there.
appreciated, Dr. Bananas. That is a 13 all told.
Okay.
Could be worse.
So it takes you a little bit, but continuing to get patient history, and reviewing the EKG readings that Dr. Bananas pulled, and that is still being pulled because nobody has taken the machine off the poor dude. It's still there. Um, you kind of suss out that it is probably not a full-blown heart attack, but it could turn into that because it seems like maybe one of the valves is failing or weaker than it is supposed to be. So it hasn't turned into a full-blown heart attack yet, but part of his heart is weaker than it should be. Now, whether that means part of his heart tissue has died or various other things that could cause that, I don't know, and you won't know unless they crack open his chest. But you do know that it is probably more of a like heart valve, heart chambers issue rather than a full-blown heart attack.
Just another disappointed look on Fallon's face as she realizes this one's going to the OR too. And I'm still out here with Bananas.
Please,
I like
Bananas is my father's name. Call
Right,
me
Bananas
Dr. Foster
Jr.
Bananas, the second.
The
Bananas
second, right.
Jr. Sorry. I just realized that my fiance is also calling out in the chat that y'all gotta figure out which ventricle, and I'm like, nah, we're not
It's
getting
all the
that deep.
ventricles. None of those
She
ventricles are ventricling.
she did the biological sciences, I went the mechanical sciences. So.
Okay, you tell us which ventricle then.
Yeah. Which
Ah,
ventricle is it, damn it?
the left one.
Okay.
Grabbing the
Uh,
patient by the shirt, which ventricle?
Which ventricle? Tell me now. So you have that realization and you start doing the call up to surgery, to have the patient transferred. The surgeon actually comes down for a consultation because it's not like an immediate emergency case. And they have one of those tailored white lab jackets on for the moment, over their OR scrubs. They have one of those OR like hat covers things. They have their black hair pulled back in a long ponytail that drifts down their back. And they are also in high heels because medical drama people wear heels in the hospital for some reason. And they, start, talking. They come in and talk to you all first, outside of the like little closed curtain thing, trying to get the rundown on the patient before they go in and talk to the patient. They have the like their eyeliner game is on point. They You also do notice that they have like a nose piercing. Um, and it is like a little small, almost like jade colored jewel to it. And they're are just kind of like they're like, okay, tell me what's going on here. I got a page to come down for a surgery consultation.
well, so wait, she's speaking to us, yeah?
Yeah.
That's okay. Well, first of all, charmed to meet you. What's your name?
I'm totally prepared to make up names.
Well, let me
And
introduce myself first.
not
My
looking
name's...
up a name generator at all.
I'll talk slowly so you have time to think of a response. My name is Dr. Foster Bananas the second, son of the famed Dr. Foster Bananas. And who might you be?
I'm Dr. Isabella Jones.
Charmed to meet you. And I do the old world kind of like take the hand, kiss. I must say, a surgeon of your caliber should be able to help us with this, gent over here. He's got a bum ticker, I'm afraid, and we're looking for a consult as to how to fix his left ventricle.
At the whole like kissing of her hand thing, she does that like very stereotypical like poker face, like just slightly raises one eyebrow in questioning. Um, and she's like, okay, I mean that's my specialty. I am the head cardiac surgeon here, so and then she turns to you, Dr. Form, and is like, any additional input before I head in to talk to the patient?
I think Dr. Form is sort of looking over as there's like the bend and kiss of the hand. Dr. Form is just sort of looking over Dr. Bananas, just like making eye contact, the same expression. Uh,
You seeing this guy? You seeing this guy?
yeah, we've got a 12 lead running. Looks like there's maybe some sort of muscle death. Hasn't hit a full arrest yet, thankfully, but hopefully you can fix him up before we get to that, yeah?
Awesome. And we paused there for a second because we got an anonymous $5 donation for a rumor. And the rumor that's being added to the hospital is that one of the doctors has a secret lover at the hospital, and it is a fellow doctor. Oh my God. And while we're talking about rumors, and before we jump from Dr. Form and Dr. Bananas over to Dr. Agon and Dr. Diaz, Dr. Form, what are some things that you've heard and are have maybe added yourself rumor-wise about your fellow doctors, about the hospital?
Ooh, okay. I have heard, word on the street is, or in the cafe is, that under the hospital itself, there's like somewhere in the peds wing, I think, there's a rumor that this sort of build of the hospital is over some old like catacombs. What they're from, who knows? But there's apparently weird tunnels under peds. I haven't gone to check it out. Honestly, this is my first rotation here. And I don't know that I'm into all of that, you know, weird stuff myself, but there may be some merit to it, who knows. Um or that's just the basement and people out here don't know what that is. Unclear. Um I've also heard that Dr. Agon used to work in the circus. I don't know how real that is, but I just think it's because they've got strongman vibes. But you didn't hear that from me.
Definitely have held a barbell or two in their day. That's what they look like. Dr. Bananas, what have you heard floating around the hospital?
Well, I've heard that obviously everyone is extremely horny, but that's less of a rumor and more sort of just a general vibe. What I have heard is that there have been rumors that a organized crime cartel is trying to strip the copper wiring from around the hospital, which may be responsible for frequent and unexplained blackouts, as well as communication lapses.
That's not going to come back to bite you all in the butt.
Yeah. And the others, I mean, am I meant to have written these down? Because I don't.
No, you're fine.
Something I've heard, something I've heard about Dr. Denny Diaz is that even though they've warned us that we shouldn't be rock stars, that they were in fact once a rock star, that they have a passion for music that goes beyond their rugged good looks and earthy charm.
So with those sets of whispers and things that have run through the hospital, and with Dr. Isabella having walked into the patient and started talking with them and is working with a nurse to kind of like will them to the elevator to get to surgery, we go over to Bay 2 where Dr. Agan and Dr. Diaz currently is. This patient You get the rundown from the EMT who helps you bring them in here. They have a compound fracture in their arm. They were playing rugby. It got rugby-ish as it does. Um, and they ended up at the bottom of a pile-up. Um, and so they have possibly a concussion and they have a compound fracture in their arm. Dr. Agan, what would you like to do with this patient?
Well, having played a bit of rugby myself in my youth, the concussion I think is the more important thing that I should be investigating. So I'm gonna be checking the pupils and asking them a couple of questions, having them track my finger and stuff like that to make sure that we're not dealing with a more serious head injury. The broken arm will heal, probably, but
Yeah, so with your relation of being familiar with rugby and probably various concussions that come from those sorts of sports, I will give you a +2 bonus, being related to the scene. And I will also let you pitch to me what stat you want to try and roll with this, to help with a concussion.
well, generally as an action hero, I can only issue action challenges unless the scene makes me roll something different.
I will say I will let you roll action because playing sports, I guess, is actiony. And so is getting concussions, although I have gotten concussion not doing actiony things. Um, uh, it will be a little bit of a higher difficulty, but with the +2 bonus, it kind of evens out in that case.
All right. I also have a MacGuffin.
Mhm.
I have my doctor flashcards that I keep with me because my memory's not the best, so I have to occasionally flip through those to try to kind of make sure that I'm not getting something wrong because I was always bad with the terminology. But let's see what we got here. That would be a 14.
Awesome. So you go through kind of the steps, have them follow your finger, do the little pen light thing in their eye, that sort of thing. I don't fully remember what they did to me for my concussion because I had a concussion. Yeah. They do have a minor concussion from it. You also, while examining them, do find probably like an impact site. It is in their hairline a little bit, so it's not immediately obvious. They are probably going to need stitches there. It is a decent gash for that, but you do pick up minor concussion. It's not like the kind of concussion that's probably if they go to sleep they're going to die in their sleep. But it is still a minor concussion. So you could start issuing that. And as before, the EMTs kind of get replaced by nurses who start helping you out. Dr. Diaz, how would you like to help this patient?
Well, while his pupils are being checked for the concussion, I think I pat Dr. Agon on the back. I'm like, I'm glad it was you. And I'm gonna move to cage, probably ortho, because I can't set a broken bone. Not a compact fracture, compound fracture. And then, but I am going to do the general broken limb test. I'm gonna make him wiggle his fingers, check the feeling, make sure blood flow is not being disrupted. So go ahead and wiggle your fingers for me. And I'm just making him like grab my pen and things like that while we check his eyes and wait for ortho.
Sweet. So I will go ahead and have you roll. I'll say mystery. I'll allow mystery if you want for this because you're
Thanks.
trying to suss out if there's any nerve damage in addition to the broken bone situation because it is the arm.
For sure. I got a 15.
Okay, yeah. So it doesn't seem like there's any nerve damage. There is some bleeding happening, which you can deal with while you're waiting for the doctor you paged to come down. Um, they do seem to have a little like weakness when they go to do the finger test with their like thumb to pinky. Um, whether that's because they have broken bones or not. You still note it in their chart. The doctor that you page comes down, Dr. Oliver Smith, because I have a giant name list now pulled up. For reasons. I'm gonna write this down so I don't forget. Um, looks like they should probably be wearing a leather jacket rather than a lab coat. Like they have that like motorcycle, like probably more comfortable at like a biker bar than a hospital. Like look to them because there always has to be at least one of those doctors in the hospital. Um, he comes down and he meets you all outside of the curtain to get the rundown from the patient for you all to get the info he needs before he goes in and deals with the patient. He is he probably stands at we'll say 5'9", has a asymmetric haircut that definitely isn't a normal color, probably outside of dress code colors for a doctor at a hospital. Touch of green, some blue, maybe a little bit of like a darker red in there too. Um, he definitely has like a scar probably from like a bar fight that comes from the corner of one eye down a little bit. And he's just like very chill and he's like, so, like tell me what's going on. You called for a consultation? What's up?
Yeah, compound fracture, bones a little out, bleeding's mostly stopped, presenting with some weakness, and that's about it. I just didn't want to set it. That feels like a thing I could mess up that I'd rather not.
Yeah, I mean, that's awesome. Any other issues or problems I should be aware of while I work with the patient?
Dr.
And
Aegon?
Dr. Aegon is kind of staring at this doctor, particularly at the scar. And I'm gonna use my BS point here with this doctor. I'm gonna be like, Tinker, we fought in the war together. D-Day, remember? Oklahoma D-Day, that biggest paintball war in the world.
oh yeah, you shot that one dude in the ass.
I did. And that scar, man, I have never seen anyone drink that much tequila.
Yeah, I mean, if there's one thing you probably shouldn't drink that much of, it's probably tequila.
Oh man, we got to party sometime. But yeah, this guy's got a concussion. Typical stuff. It's nothing major. He's gonna need some stitches on his head. I can see that. He definitely has an impact there. And yeah, it's something with his arm.
Awesome. And he goes to move to go into the bay and then pauses and turns back to both you, Dr. Agan and Dr. Diaz. And he's like, why don't you all come in? I'll teach you all how to set a compound fracture.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
No, would love that. We would love that.
and has you all go in with him and you all are in Bay 2 doing that. We'll kind of fade that scene away and we'll come back. Both Dr. Form and Dr. Bananas, you've dealt with a few minor cases here and there in the meantime. When Dr. Agan and Dr. Diaz is done, you all have kind of joined back up at that central spot. And right at that moment, Dr. Omama walks by and just plops files in front of all four of you and is like, now you got paperwork. Good luck. Just keeps walking off camera.
Is it just me, or is that incredibly attractive, the way she storms off and disregards us like we're flotsam and jetsam upon the waters of life? No, just me. All right. Paperwork.
Yeah.
Brown's already
yeah.
sitting there filling it out. Like, I say go for it.
I also
What do you
think you
think?
should go for it.
Live your truth, Bananas.
B2.
Oh,
Don't see why not.
She will squat
Wait a minute.
you like. No, never mind.
Go
Getting
for
on
it.
your attending is always a good idea. You should
I'll,
totally do that.
I'll do your paperwork. You go for it.
Do you know what, old bean? I was a bit iffy about you before, but you're a solid, solid fellow. And as for
I
the rest of you, it's nice to it's nice to feel the breath of true friendship, camaraderie. Well, if you'll excuse me, I'm going off to shoot my proverbial shot, as it were, and I scurry off after Dr. Amama.
There you
have
go,
fun,
Tiger.
B2.
Just
It
sort of
starts.
holding up a fist bump.
You
Yeah.
see the delts on Dr. Mama, she's going to fold him like an accordion.
I want to
That's-
see her try.
that's the
I
hope.
would like
I
to
hope
see
it.
that happen, actually.
So as Dr. Veneers walks off to shoot his shot, which we'll get to in a moment, um, Dr. Form, Dr. Aegon, Dr. Diaz, you all can head towards the what amounts to a staff lounge here if you want to have somewhere to sit down to do your paperwork. Um, if you go into the lounge, you do see that Dr. Isabel Jones, Dr. Oliver Smith, and the EMT are all in there. Um, Dr. Oliver Smith and the EMT seem to be playing a game of poker. And Dr. Isabella Jones does seem to be reading like some sort of medical journal or something in there. Um, she's off on a table by herself, a little bit away from the two who are being very loud and boisterous as they're playing poker. You're not quite sure what they're betting on. It's not immediately clear when you enter the lounge. But they do seem to be some sort of betting going on there. So you all are welcome to interact with them if you would like to.
I'm gonna sit down and bet an attempt to bet paperwork. I'm gonna see if I can get them to do the extra paperwork I just took up in exchange for betting their paperwork.
Beat me to it.
Join in. We can all bet paperwork.
Oh yeah, yeah. Fallon will sit down with Diaz. Just put the paperwork down on the table. Deal us in, yeah?
So it just happens that that is exactly what they're betting for. This
There's
paperwork.
one currency in the ER.
Paperwork. Who wants to do paperwork and files? And it seems to be a combination of paperwork and drinks because eventually you run out of paperwork.
Do you?
For the
I've never seen that.
shift, not for like
I've never seen it
ever,
done.
just for the shift. Your paperwork's a little bit more strenuous than EMT paperwork, probably. They're like, didn't die, hand it off.
EMTs in chat, please don't come for us.
Yeah.
You do incredible work.
Yes.
You're the
Everyone
true
just
heroes.
hates the paperwork that comes with any sort of medical anything. So they deal you all in, and so what we're gonna do for this is I'm gonna run it kind of like I run card games, for 5e. So everyone's gonna roll a d20. The number on the d20 is gonna be how good your hand is from 1 to 20. You can bluff to make people believe that you have a better hand than you do. If you want to try and get some people to fold or kind of feel out the rest of the situation there. And then once we get to where everyone has called and we need to show cards, that's when we'll reveal who rolled what to see who actually won the hand. If you want to try and bluff your way through on a 1 or 2, you can definitely try it, and I will allow you to do some sort of like genre roll maybe to like suss out how good of a hand other people have or to try and bluff that you have a better hand than you do. I'll let you pitch to me what kind of genre, what kind of vibe you're going for when we get to that point. But yeah, roll a d20 and let's get this card game for your paperwork started here.
No whammies.
Ooh.
All right.
All right, Dr. Form, would you like to try and do anything to figure out who has what kind of hand, bluff your way into being like, yeah, like intimidation, I got the best hand. What would you like to do?
I I'm just playing it chill. Nothing to see here. I don't know that she's necessarily trying to like peek on anybody else's hand or anything. I don't think she cares all that much if she has to do extra paperwork. Um, but she's staying in
Mhm.
for sure.
Awesome. Dr. Diaz, is there anything you'd like to do?
I would like to try to use mystery to suss out how everyone else is doing. Like, I want to see if they're bluffing or not. I'm gonna kind of try to gauge the table.
Mm-hmm.
For mystery, I got a 21.
Okay. So looking at Dr. Oliver, you kind of get the feeling that he is one of those cavalier devil may cry people who like even if he has a bad hand, he's definitely gonna act like he doesn't have a bad hand. He's probably gonna push the bet a little bit to see if he can like wiggle his way through. Um, Dr. Agan, if you're in the room, you definitely spot this because you've played paintball and had drinks with him. You've probably played cards with him before. He just tries to keep doing the same tactic, and eventually he kind of comes up about even at the end of the night from it. Um, when you look at the EMT, who I don't think I gave a name to, but I will give a name to uh, now. Um, we'll say their name is Ave Davies. Um, make them a little bit on the gender fluid, non-binary side with that name. They seem very confident. Now, whether or not they're the person kind of person that is always confident, being an EMT, they probably are a little bit more confident, but they also seem very relaxed, like the kind of relaxed where they're like, this is probably going to go my way. And between that relaxed status and the fact that um, they have a pretty decent number of whatever is being used to denote the bets in front of them already. They probably have already been taking Dr. Oliver for a bit of a ride on this. So they seem calm, cool, and collected and confident in what they have as a hand. And in fact, as you have this assessment and you make eye contact with them, they like up the ante of the bet. And Dr. Oliver is just like kind of shrugs and matches the up ante. Dr. Form, would you like to join in that, or would you like to fold out? You are unmute.
Ah, okay. I'm back. I'm staying in. I'll ride this out.
All right. Dr. Diaz, would you like to stay in as well?
I'm the practical type. I fold.
Okay. All right. So at this point, we'll say the bet is probably sitting at 3 paperwork things done because there's 3 of you left. And we'll say maybe like 5 drinks. Um, uh, as they're betting, Dr. Oliver kind of like lets you all in that there's a bar down the street that everyone goes to after shift, that this is where they'd cash those drinks in at. Um, he shows his hand, and out of 20, he has a 9 as a hand. uh, Dr. Form, what do you have?
Dr. Form is sitting on a 13.
Awesome. So Ave kind of pauses and like does that like little half smirk smile thing again that you saw earlier when they were talking with Dr. Agan, and Shirley slowly sets down their cards and they have a 15 out of 20.
Ugh.
And they just kind of scoop that up. And they're like, thank you for your business. Always a pleasure, Dr. Oliver. And actually, it's fun taking your, well, actually, I guess giving you my paperwork and taking your money for drinks, Dr. Forum. Sorry, we gotta break the new people in somehow, I guess.
I'm sure we'll get even at some point.
You know?
We'll split the stack of paperwork between the two of us, obviously giving the other doctor the 2 and I'll take the 1 for sure.
And as you are looking at the paperwork that they have for you to fill out, you do see that they have probably brought in several more patients since you last saw them that first go around before you sent off probably not going to die. Who knows? You haven't found out the outcome of that surgery yet. Patient to OR1. It looks like there has been some like heat stroke issues around the marathon that's happening. There's been some almost like silly TikTok challenge uh double dog dare situation injuries of like kids being stupid kids and getting real hurt. Um, and you do also notice that there has probably been 1 or 2 like construction related incidents that have been brought in as well. So just an overview of some of the things that have been passing through. Nothing raising alarm bells yet, like doesn't look like there's currently been a massive pile up or anything. Reminder to the stream, if you want something like that to happen, you could totally donate to make something like that happen. You know. Um, so as you all are settling up your bets, Dr. Aegon, is there anything you would like to do?
So I wasn't playing the cards.
Would you like to play the cards?
I mean, I thought I was. Maybe I wasn't. If I wasn't playing cards, I would have gone over by Dr. Jones.
Okay. Yeah,
It's cardiology. That's the action spot, man.
Matters of the heart, you say?
Yeah.
A cardiologist at Hart Hospital? and she, she puts down her medical journal if you go over and sit with her. And it looks like she has not the crappy like hospital provided coffee or tea. It definitely looks like she's brought her own like loose leaf tea she has used to make herself a cup of tea. And she sips from rather than the disposable like paper cups they provide in the break room, like an actual almost like thermosy like mug. So she's definitely brought her own tea and her own mug to work. And is just casually sips that, and she's like, "So how's your first shift in the ER going?"
I mean, it's going all right. I mean, ER, I mean, it's okay, but it's not surgery.
Mm-hmm.
It's not cardiology. I mean, the things you must have seen. And he's kind of just lean over and just give a little. Is that August Uncommon you have brewing there?
And she kind of just like chuckles and she's like, "Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna be honest. Good luck if you want to drink the stuff that they give you here. Honestly, it's about as weak as water. Um, if you're gonna be doing ER shifts, you're probably gonna be wanting something a little stronger than the in-house stuff."
Good to know. So, how long you been here at Hart?
Uh, uh, like 5 years at this point. I've been the head cardiac surgeon, however my title is supposed to be, for the last year or so, after the last one retired.
Huh. I mean, that's kind of where I want to go into. I would like to, at some point, work under you.
Yeah, I'll make you
or
a deal.
over you. Either way.
And they kind of like give you like a chuckle and just like choose to ignore that like or over you mumble for a second, but like acknowledge it with a chuckle as they talk. And they go, I'll make you a deal. If you can find me an interesting cardiac case in the ER tonight, I'll let you assist me in the surgery.
You're on.
Well, hope you have luck. Good luck with that. And she, um, where most people probably wear like some sort of like fancy wristwatch, she instead takes out what you realize is a small gold pocket watch that is like linked to something in her like little lab coat pocket and looks at it and she's like, I have a scheduled surgery I have to get to though. So good luck with that. And she actually instead of just like getting up and leaves, takes the medical journal she was doing and like flips it around so it's facing you. And it is like the latest cardiac surgery technique. And she's like, here, you might need this if you do find something interesting tonight. And takes her little thermos and walks away, kind of in that slow motion strut that we all know from people in Hill wearing in these dramas has. So you now have a little bit of a goal. If you find an interesting cardiac case tonight, you will be assisting in that surgery.
Ooh.
So as that happens, Dr. Banana or Dr. I keep wanting to say Banana Foster instead of Foster Banana. So,
You're falling into my trap.
yeah, I know. Dang it. We go ahead and flash over to Dr. Foster Bananas as they go to try and shoot their shot with Oh Mama. So Oh
He is
Mama,
power walking. Power walking.
you spot Oh Mama turn into like the supply closet, like she's going to go get something, for maybe something she's handling or to check inventory on the supply closet when there's a little bit of a lull moment. Um, how would you like to approach this shooting your shot, Dr. Bananas?
I open the door and I lean against it and I look at him. Looking for something?
Okay. I will let you pitch to me what genre you want to try to roll with this.
I think I'm going to stick with my strengths and go comedy. So basically, as I lean in, I'm going to like trip over some loose materials on the floor in the supply closet and like face plant on the ground.
Mhm.
Then going to get back up and sort of like muss my hair and then try and be all smooth as I. Dare I say, that was some of the finest medical intervention that I've seen in all my year as a doctor. You have the right stuff. And I'm not just saying that because you are responsible for my well-being and career. I genuinely think that any woman strong enough to be a doctor and to lift me over her head is a woman worth watching. So I've got my eye on you, oh mama.
Okay. I was gonna give you a +1 because of that for my year of experience as a doctor comment. But because of the speech as a whole, I'm going to give you a +2 bonus to this roll attempt. I can't get over it for my whole year of experience as a doctor.
That's my residency. It's my year. You know,
Yeah.
I'm only counting from this year. All right, boom. Oh, that's a 5. That's a 5. And I will take that.
So they kind of give you this like deadpan look. And they're like, Dr. Bananas, if you have enough time to be spouting this nonsense, and they like put like a stack of boxes in your hands that happens to be like a bunch of like glove boxes, you can restock the base and just like walks past you and back out of the supply closet.
I look back at her, and I watch her leave, and then I turn back. It's like, beats doing paperwork. Dr. Diaz is a chump. And then I start stocking the bay.
And I would also like to give a shout out because we just got another donation from Rosetta Sun. They have added a minor complication. And so now something you all are gonna have to deal with is the case of the missing socks because somehow patients are suddenly having their socks taken and disappearing. And what the heck is going on? Dr. Hot and Stuff is like, guys, WTF? Like, how are you misplacing ER patient socks? What is going on?
Oh my god, I love you, Rosetta Sun. That's amazing. I'm on this.
So that is a something you all have been assigned to figure out what the heck is happening, because things roll downhill in the ER, and Dr. Hot and Stuff and Dr. O'Mama don't have to do what that you do. Welcome to your residency.
While
they
I'm
missing
stocking, do
from-
I notice stocks? Do I notice any socks? Like loose socks?
If you want to find loose socks, I will
Yeah.
allow a mystery roll while you
Mystery
stock.
roll. Huh. And that is a 12 plus my mystery bonus, which is 1.
So
So 13.
13. So you don't see like a pile of socks or like someone stealing socks. But you do, as you're stalking, realize that one of the bays that you restocked had a patient chart on the bed, but no patient in the bed.
A patient shot without a patient. Interesting. I'll get to the bottom of this. This is worth all my attention.
And at that, Dr. O'Mama pops her head into the curtain and is like, don't forget to finish restocking the bays, and then like disappears out of the
This
Eating
is
it.
worth half of my attention.
So I'm going to trigger another series of cases coming into the ER for you all. I'm gonna do quick maths in my head from the donations we've gotten so far. Yeah, okay. Because I can, I'm gonna trigger. Oh, thank you. It was like someone dropped the thing in there. I'm gonna trigger, we'll say, a minor traffic accident. So you're gonna have related cases coming in that have to do with the accident. I'm also gonna make one of you all the purveyor of your own doom. Decide between yourselves who you want to roll the d20 to see what kind of weirdness comes in with these car crash victims. Volunteers, voluntold.
I think Dr. Form should roll it because they won the poker game. Well, lost, but rolled higher than I did in the poker game.
came in second in poker, which is a
Yeah.
normal thing to want and possible to achieve. All right, just a raw d20.
Yep.
Cool. That's a 6.
Cool. Mm-hmm. Totally normal things will happen. So you hear a bunch of noise happening in the bay as multiple EMT ambulances pull up and they start coming through the door. You get the normal rounds of people with head injuries, lacerations, some minor bleeding. Quickly, bays 1, 2, and 3 are filled up with those kinds of cases. The big case that comes through that Dr. Omama pulls all 4 of you for to help with. There are 2 people sitting on a single gurney. They're facing opposite ways, and there is a rebar through them. Classic medical drama issue here. One of the vehicles involved in the pileup was a construction truck transferring construction equipment, which included rebars. So now these 2 are impaled and kept together by a rebar through them, like some sort of kebab skewer situation going on here. There's always one of them in a medical drama, guys. I mean, I don't know what to tell you.
It's a classic for a reason.
Yeah. And so they take that into their critical bay one, which our audience can't see, but I provided the group with a emergency room floor plan And the beds are divided into critical care, and observation and med bays. Um, the proper term is probably not med based. That's my sci-fi brain peeking through a little bit there. But then what we're gonna say, that's what we're calling them. So they're going to critical bay one. And Oh Mama is like trying to keep them calm and make sure they're not moving a ton because we don't know what the situation is with the rebars yet, or what it's puncturing or not puncturing or close to. And you're getting the rundown that they just kind of found them like this. They weren't in the same vehicle, but they were outside of their vehicle, so probably both of them got tossed or something, and they ended up in this situation. The left I'll say left person, if you're looking at them, this person, um, uh, does seem to be having maybe a mild panic attack happening. Um, that the EMTs do let you know they gave them something to try and help, but there's still some sort of minor panic attack situation going on. The person on the right does seem to be having like a cut bleeding down, where they're having some problems like keeping blood out of the eyes. You can see the EMTs like did what they could to try and like stem it as much as possible without getting too involved in moving them around or anything because they didn't want to risk the situation with the rebar getting worse by fixing the head situation. Um, so, uh, Dr. Omama is just kind of like staring there, and she's like, "Well, I'm gonna have to be honest. I've never seen this one in the ER before. Congratulations, y'all. You have seen a case that doesn't happen." Um, for those of you in the audience, it does in medical dramas, but probably not super common in actual ERs. Um, they kind of like pause, and you can see that almost like meme of like the calculations and things happening in their brain, before they're like, okay, Dr. Aegon, how confident are you with tools? Like, not like scalpers, but like tools. Because we're gonna have
Um,
to try and cut this rebar.
I mean, tools in general. I mean, I'm not going to build you a cabinet, but I mean, if you need something ripped in half, that's kind of what I do.
Awesome. So, Dr. Diaz, we're gonna have you stabilize the rebar as much as possible. We do not want this thing to move. Dr. Bananas, she looks at you for a moment and she just kind of like does that like blink blink thing and is like, "Why don't you work on making sure the patients stay calm?" And she's
Wise
like,
choice.
Dr. Form, you're with me. We're gonna assess the trauma. Um, at that, you do see that Ave Davies is in the bay with you all still. They're the EMT that brought this case in. And you do see that they seem familiar with Dr. Omama. They go, Ave, can you help make sure protect the patient's backs? We're gonna try and see if we can cut them in half and at least get them separated so we can get them into some sort of imaging to see what's going
Cut the
on with the
patients in
rebar.
half?
Well, no, the rebar, the like where it is in the media command.
Right.
um, and then they're like, yeah, I got that. And they start like getting like gauze bundles to try and like put around it so the sparks and things don't hit them because I don't know if you've cut rebar before, but it does throw sparks. Yay! Uh, so probably the best order of operations here that we could do with this is Dr. Diaz will be going first because you are stabilizing the rebar. Um, Then we'll do Dr. Bananas because Dr. Bananas is trying to keep the patients calm. And then we'll do Dr. Aegon because Dr. Aegon will be cutting the rebar. And then Dr. Form, you and Dr. Omama are going to be assessing the trauma on the two patients. So there is a possibility that along the way between these things happening, this can get worse. Um, so good good luck. Remember what Dr. Ramama told you about not killing anyone tonight. Um, Dr. Diaz, how are you stabilizing the rebar?
Well, so that's the issue, right? If I stabilize one side, the other side isn't as stabilized. And I can't stabilize the center because that's where we're cutting. Um, I would like to suggest that we take their vitals first and that we just stabilize one side and cut at the front of that person so we can pull them off and then deal with the second person who's doing worse.
Okay.
Because I think that if I stabilize one end and the other end isn't stabilized enough and it causes more damage cutting through, I would like to, before we start making calls, I wanna suggest maybe let's try to take the healthiest person off first and get them straight to
Mhm.
surgery.
Yeah, so what stat are you pitching that you would like to roll for this?
I'm gonna go. Oh my goodness, that's like an impossible stat. Because I can't think of I'll drama, I guess, just because it's a dramatic situation.
I will allow that because you're trying to go against what Dr. Omama told you to do. So it
I'm
is a
just
little
suggesting it to Dr. Obama. I'm just suggesting.
tensioning. Yeah.
Um, okay, I got an 11. That's already with my thing. Actually, I have. Is this the time? Yeah, I have lucky. I'm gonna re-roll that, I believe. Lucky does a certain thing.
Mhm.
One of my features. If I can go to it, I apologize.
No, you're good.
There it is. Okay. Um, there it is. Okay, effect one once per event. I can re-roll any roll I made, but I have to keep the new result, and then I can take this as many times as I want. Okay, yeah, so I just have it the one time, but so I'm gonna attempt to affect the roll. I just start re-rolling it. Okay, I did marginally better. I got a 14.
Okay. So Dr. Omama lets you take their vitals. She's still wanting to pursue the path of stabilizing and cutting them apart, but she will let you take the vitals and then we can make a decision from that point, moving forward. With the vitals, you do pick up that the person that you believed to be kind of having a panic attack, um, while probably also having a panic attack, um, there seems to be something weird going on with their like blood pressure. Um, it's fluctuating where it shouldn't be. And their pulse is probably weaker than would be good. Even if they weren't impaled with a rebar.
Right.
So they might be having some internal bleeding situation happening that you all can't see at the moment. Um, So with that, the person on the left who has seemed like they're having the panic attack is probably the more immediate concern
Mhm.
uh, of the issue. And with that information, Dr. Omama does call for an X-ray because they can't necessarily fit them in like an imaging machine with the rebar in them,
Yeah.
but they can at least do a mobile X-ray and maybe use some ultrasound to get a better idea of it. So they do that. Um, while they're doing that, and Dr. Omama is prepping Dr. Aegon to do some cutting, um, they do the ultrasound and the X-ray, and they do see that the rebar that is going through into the person that you spotted the issue with, while it hasn't yet punctured the heart, it is putting pressure on it. It's almost like it came in and then maybe got shifted, so it came in under the heart and is now pressing up against the heart. So it is restricting that, and it does look like it nicks something inside, but not the heart itself yet. So with that, um, Dr. Omama still wants to cut them in half, but wants to immediately get the person to the left headed towards the OR as soon as they're cut. And then do further imaging for the person on the right who seems a little bit more stable condition. Ugh. Tongue-tied for the GM is not a good thing. So Dr. Aegon, you are cutting them off of each other, separating the two rebarb people.
Yes.
I am assuming you're going to be using action for this.
Oh yes. While I'm also texting Dr. Jones about a very unique situation of rebar putting pressure on someone's heart.
Yeah, that seems like if you manage to pull this off, you might have an interesting surgery ahead of you.
Yeah, if I don't kill
I
this
can't believe
person,
Aegon's
that's
getting
sweet.
in the OR before I am. It's ridiculous.
Well, I'm really good at action, so this was bound to go my way because I am an epic hero. That is a 21.
Yes, so you managed to cut through the rebar, kind of slice it like butter, hot knife through butter. Pshoo, they are separated. Um, Dr. Omama helps you move the person on the left to a separate gurney. And right as you all do that, because this is how medical dramas work, right as you all get ready to push the gurney out, Dr. Isabella Jones does arrive to start reading the patient's charts and doing history, like a walk and talk thing with him. As they're leaving and pushing it, Dr. Jones does call over her shoulder. It's like, Dr. Aegon, are you coming? And then just keeps walking down the hallway with the gurney towards the elevator.
I will push the saw into Dr. Banana's hands. And
Thanks, old chum.
Awesome.
Am I like just holding it, or am I meant to use this thing?
I mean, you might have to use it now.
Is there still rebar sticking out of their chest?
I mean, out of the second person's chest, yes.
All right. Well, I look around to see if anyone's going to stop me, and there's... Now, this might sting a bit.
Just a hand on the side.
Wait, what? No? No?
Where were you going to
don't-
put that? Just question. Just gauging.
I was just going to shave it down a little. Make it flush.
I'm just looking at the attending at Dr. Amama, like
I wasn't going to pull it out. That's
do you
insane.
want to explain why that's
That
a
would
bad
cause a
idea?
rupture.
You can just hear her mutter under her breath. Bless his heart.
Maybe we get some pain management on board before we vibrate the thing that is through all of their organs.
Ooh, I've got just the thing. And I put down the saw, and I reach into my pocket and I pull out a fistful of cloves. It's like, this'll help.
Yeah, go
Put it
ahead
in the
and
patient's
I'm
hand.
so sorry.
apply the cloves.
Yeah,
Press X
that's
to
a
clove.
natural painkiller.
Yeah, press X to clove. I hope you don't end up having to press F for respect.
Now this is
The two options, clove and cleave, I guess.
yes, clove and yes, the two C's.
We clove
I
and then we
see
cleave.
You've studied your Heraclitus. Very good. All right, let's try it. Now I mixed together a poultice. I have a few poultices ready, and I want to just pack it around the wound.
Is it
Now
pull
this
time?
one is clove and dogwood, so it should be particularly good. Huh, there we go. Oh, does that count as a prop bonus?
Since you're
poultices?
mixing up some weird thing to smear on them, yeah, I will give you a +2.
Okay.
Prop
Is it
bonus.
action, drama, or mystery, or comedy?
I want to go with comedy just because
Okay.
you're about to smear some stuff on them.
That's a 21.
Awesome. So yeah,
Like a beautiful bagel.
Maybe it's like a placebo
best
effect.
bagel.
Maybe you're onto something here, Dr. Bananas, but whatever you smear on them seems to help them with their pain management. and Dr. Omama has one of those like deeply held in sigh moments where they're just like
I just mop my brow and I look back at her and at Dr. Form and I think he's stable. He just might make it. Well, it's in God's hands now. And I step back.
No, it's like super still in our hands.
Oh, wait, really? All right, good. All right, God, give me your hands back.
So Dr. Omama moves forward to start assessing the trauma and waves you forward, Dr. Form, to help. They do start doing packing around where the rebar is with bundles of um wrapped bandages to just kind of provide a little bit more structured around where those have gone it has gone through the body. So you all have a little bit more breathing room to assess trauma. So because of her work to do that, I will give you a +2 to whatever roll you would like to do to assess trauma on the patient.
Ooh, delightful. I think since Dr. Omama has taken the sort of dealing with the bloody stuff situation, gotten that under control, I think Dr. Form's approach is going to be more making sure that like nerves and things are okay. Making sure that like, it hasn't impacted something and like the leg is dying or whatever. So I think, now knowing that Dr. Omama has that under control is helping her feel like she can go in a different direction to figure out what's going on. Um, so I feel like that's less drama, more mystery, maybe. Trying to
Probably.
figure out what's weird.
Sussing it. Yeah.
Yeah, sussing it. Let me see. I think this guy has to go in jail. That's another 7. Plus
That's what you said last
curious-
time. Did you not put it in jail then?
All my dice are in the other office. I don't have another D20 on hand. It's just this one.
I'd lend you mine, but I don't know how that would work.
Yeah, can you roll for me from a distance?
Yeah, you want me to? I will.
I think that's a 10 all told. Unless I can get some sort of. Do I get a bonus from Omama?
You get a +2 from
+2.
her.
That's a 12.
So it's a 12.
It's 12.
So I will say this, with a 12, not quite going the way you want it to, but not quite going as bad as it could have gone.
Right.
So you recognize that something is wrong right as the patient crashes.
Great.
Uh, so Dr. Omama is like shouting instructions and basically saying we got to get them to the OR. We can't wait anymore. Like we can't wait to see what's going on. We're gonna have to do exploratory surgery. And she starts booking it down the hallway with the patient. It looks like Dr. Omama is going to go to OR room 2 there. Now, Dr. Aegon is in surgery. Dr. Omama isn't in surgery. It is a quiet moment, and Dr. Hot and Stuff sends you all to observation, like that little like weird above the surgery places viewing station that for whatever reason medical drama shows always seem to have, so they can look down on the surgery happening.
You got to see what's going on.
You all can pick whichever of the 2 surgeries you want to watch. And with that, we'll go to Dr. Aegon helping Dr. Isabella Jones with surgery. You all have been scrubbed in. You have opened up to figure out what's going on. Give me a roll to see. Tell me after your roll what you're wanting to do, and I will tell you how that affects the surgery.
Oh my gosh. What do I want to do? Well, I'm with the head of cardiology, so I'm not going to just take control of it. Boy. So the rebar is pressing against the heart. We've got a. Well, I'm going to roll first and see what I got here. Okay. Boy. You know, it's a gutsy play, but we got to get that pressure off the heart. And being a man of action, that rebar's got to go. And if I can pull it out fast enough, the doctor should immediately be able to get in there and stem the flow of blood. It's all about speed here.
Yes.
Yeah, it's
Tablecloth
totally
rules.
yeah, the tablecloth rules. Totally. And how well did you swiftly remove the rebar?
That is a 20.
Okay. So defying the laws of IRL medicine and just like yanking the tablecloth off the table with this rebar. You do manage to get it out. We'll say with your speed and your wingspan, your arm length, you're able to move it, remove it in one pull all the way out and out of the way, rather than having to like readjust your grip halfway through or something.
I just assumed I'd be straddling the table up on top and straight up.
I mean, you can do that if you want. It might be a little bit blocking Dr. Jones getting to the chest. But we'll say you could do that. And they, as soon as you do that, they have everyone, they kind of cover the front entrance, flip them on the side real quick so they can deal with the trauma from the back. And we'll say through like a 2-hour surgery or so, you assist them with dealing the trauma, the internal trauma, and then also examining and dealing with, we'll say, how bad's the heart? We'll say, oh, okay. It was pretty traumatic to the heart. So we'll say 3 hours of surgery later. You have actually gotten to not only assist in a general surgery, but they've had to do some emergency open heart surgery to do some repair to the heart itself. So you have been involved in that. And
Dr. Form.
if this was a continuing thing, this would probably spawn the rivalry between Dr. Form and Dr. Akon. Because you got into surgery first.
If I wasn't actively doing chest compressions over here, we'd be duking it out.
So, with the other surgery, we'll see how well that goes. Actually, Dr. Amama does pretty well. While you all are observing that surgery going on, you do see Dr. Oliver Smith there, just kind of like chilling and doing paperwork while watching surgeries for whatever reason. And you do hear them toss out an offhanded compliment or offhanded comment with how Omama is doing and being like, and that's why she should have never left surgery, and just like keeps doing paperwork.
She left. Of her own volition?
I mean, she didn't want the head of surgery position. The rest of that story is probably hers to tell.
Well, I mean, you've started opening the tea. Spill it.
I mean, she's as warm and fuzzy as she is for a reason. And he kind of just like chuckles at his own joke as he keeps doing paperwork.
Ah, yes, very good. I think. He just looks around as like, does anyone else get this joke?
And as he's doing that and you all are watching this surgery, you hear the door open and close again, and there is a patient in one of those patient gowns with the definitely probably their butt hanging out because it's not closed all the way in the back. And they are wearing way too many socks. And they just kind of like wander down to like the seats in the observation thing and just kind of sit down and like us watching the surgery. Doo-doo-doo.
I'm I'm gonna take out like a flashlight and I'm just gonna start checking their eyes, like just to see how their pupils respond to stimuli.
Their pupils are like house cat levels of zoomy dilated.
Yeah, this is not normal behavior. Uh, do you know where you are, sir?
Uh, who are you?
I'm the sock guy.
Oh, I need more socks.
Yeah, cold feet?
Yeah.
Yeah. Would you mind if I looked at them before I got you more socks?
I mean, you're not gonna take my socks, are you?
I'll give all the socks back to you and then some.
Okay, just as long as you give me all the socks back.
Yeah, of course. Let's go ahead and get you back to where you're going. Let me get you a wheelchair since your feet are so cold.
Do you have any cookies?
Not on me.
So,
Am I
Doctor-
seeing this?
Yeah,
This
it's
happen?
in there in
Okay.
that little room with you all.
Okay, I lean into Dr. Diaz and it's like, I've seen this sort of thing before. He's got the sock madness. Now, you've played this very cool and close to the chest. Let me see if I can help. And I reach into my lab coat and I pull out what is the gnarliest looking cookie you've ever seen. It's my own herbal recipe. It's very good.
Yeah,
Sort of
it-
gorp. Yeah. You want the
it
cookie?
looks like the bottom of an elephant's foot.
Oh, thank you. That's what I was going for. So you want a
Why?
cookie? I wave it in front of the sock person.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna let you roll for this. Uh, I will allow you to use comedy or whatever
All right.
stat you want for this.
I'll use comedy. And it's a prop, so okay. Whoa. That is a let's see. 10.
Okay. So they kind of look dubiously at you and the cookie because what you called a cookie does not resemble a cookie, really. It resembles some sort of like fruit leather mad scientist concoction. Maybe something a parent would lie to their child as being like a snack or a dessert, what is definitely way too not tasting good to be have any sort of sugary anything in it.
It's gluten-free and keto.
Yeah,
It's hard
yeah.
to do.
Yeah. So they just kind of like dubiously look at you all, and actually, I'm gonna need you both to just roll me a flat D20 here for a moment.
I got a 16.
Oof, 7.
Cool. So you are holding this cookie out to the patient, Dr. Foster's, and they're looking dubiously at it, and then they look at Diaz, and then they look at you, and they just kind of like bolt. They like shoulder check Dr. Bananas out of the way and just go bolting out of the room.
We've
I'm
got
gonna
a runner! And
I'm
then
gonna chase him. Yeah.
You're gonna chase him? All right,
Yeah.
I'll chase him as well.
So Dr.
I-
Bananas and Dr. Diaz go out of the room.
Oh my
Dr.
God.
Four.
I page one of the ER techs that I expect is like down the hall. Just like, can you like give him a call. You're gonna want, whatever the normal dose of the is it Haldol that you give to just knock somebody out? Um It's just like you're gonna want one of those on hand, standing by the east stairwell.
We
Just
will
sort of
get
give him the call
yeah.
ahead.
We will get to the mad chase here in a moment. You will have some bonuses from the assistants from Dr. Forb. Dr. Oliver just full on like belly laughs as Dr. Bananas and Dr. Diaz goes dashing out of the door after this patient. And then he's
Sorry, I'm
like
not running at these heels. I'm not.
he's almost like wiping tears out of his eyes. He's like, "Oh my God. Oh." You all are at least entertaining. Last batch, not so much. Um, so how are you doing with the patient files you have to fill out for Ave?
They're getting done. They're getting done. Whatever's going on, heading your way is good. Good occupying the other half of my brain. You know.
Yeah. Um, well, I mean, if you all do well, maybe you all will end up in surgery on your next rotation. I know they're looking to kick some of y'all over there. Good luck with that. It looks like at least one of y'all is gonna be heading that way. He like points. You can kind of see off to the side, like almost it's like bisected, so you can watch both OR 1 and 2. And he's like pointing towards the one where you can see Dr. Aegon and Dr. Jones working on the patient. I would have pegged you as being the first one in surgery, but I would have lost that bet.
Yeah, no, I'm
Not
not
important.
biding my time. He's doing great down there.
You don't sound bitter at all.
No, no. Why would I be anything like that?
And with that, Dr. Bananas, Dr. Diaz, you all are trying to chase down this patient who was just like somehow, despite the ridiculous layer of socks, just full on like marathon sprinting down this hallway and
The
like
extra grippy socks give you
yeah.
extra grip. It's science.
and just like a Tokyo drift around a corner just keeps going.
It's the speed of a cheetah and the agility of a monkey.
I hate to agree with you, but he might have the speed of a cheetah and the agility of a monkey.
All right, you go round the corner. I'll cut him off at the pass.
That sounds like a good idea, actually.
All right, we
So
split up.
with the call-in from Dr. Form, there's going to be a +3 bonus because someone's waiting by some stairwell with some tranquilizer ready to go. It's
I
just
do what I can.
It's just a matter of can you like corral this patient in the right direction to get them to where the person with the tranquilizer is.
Are they heading towards dietary or are they heading down towards the lab?
Oh, yeah, that's right. I did also provide you all with a hospital map. So they are heading towards dietary.
Okay, towards dietary. All right. In that case, Dr. Diaz will be sprinting down Diaz will be sprinting down towards them, towards dietary, and I am going to try to cut through surgery.
They
It's
probably
the
want a better
fastest way.
cookie.
I know. Well, I'm chowing it. I'm chowing down on my cookie. So it's like more energy for me.
Ooh. Yeah.
It's kind of gamey. Delicious. I knew I should have used a little bit more paprika and echinacea. All right.
Go
so
ahead.
yeah, I'm gonna
Roll, guys.
Okay.
Okay, I got a 17 for this one.
Okay. I can't get
Woo!
over gamey cookie. I'm sorry.
It's unsettling.
It's my
It's got a sort of
specialty.
umami to it.
Yeah, it's an umami. Yeah. It's a lot of
Oh,
just some
mom.
gelatin in there.
Mom, hold on. I'm
Oh.
connecting the dots.
Dr. Umama.
Dr.
Okay,
Umama.
so I rolled a 16. Is it an action thing? Or
Yes,
is
it
it
would be an action to chase
Then
them.
that is a 15, unless I can get a prop bonus for my cookie.
I will give you a +1 for your
Then it's a flat 16.
weirdly meaty tasting.
The weirdest thing is it's vegan. I don't know what happened.
It's vegan, gluten-free, and keto. You
It's
just keep
difficult.
added things to this cookie that just makes me very concerned with what you have put into it.
It's the I'm thinking of putting out my own line, actually. It's the cookie everyone can eat and no one can enjoy.
What a tagline.
Thank you. So I'm sprinting through surgery, like through that corridor.
And actually, Dr. Agate, as you were working on this surgery, you just see passing by one of the like windows that go into like where you scrub down to get into surgery. Just Dr. Banana is just like sprinting past, and you just see him pass this one and then eventually pass another one. He's in a mad dash while shoveling what you're not sure is edible into his mouth. So Dr. Diaz, you start actually catching up to the patient. And right as they're getting ready to like pass where the surgery corridor meets it, you see Dr. Foster's just like slide out from it in front of the person, and they take a hard left right into a doorway with a stairwell that happens to have the person in it with the tranquilizer. And they're actually startled because they weren't expecting to like run into there. They're like, ah!
And 3, 2.
Yeah, just like, and tranks them. So you caught the patient. Congratulations.
Do we meet up? We meet up there?
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah.
Put it there, partner.
Yeah. How'd asking out Dr. Omama go?
Oh, she's a wily one. But I'll tell you what.
Mhm.
Somebody got to stock the stationery cupboard, if you know what I mean.
I think I know exactly what you mean.
Yes.
In such that you got to stock the stationery cupboard, yes?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's get this guy to his bed or something.
All right. Okay. But first, I'm going to take these, and I remove all of the socks, and I stuff them in my lab coat. It's like, well, some of these are very nice. Most of these are hospital issue, but some of these are like genuine socks. I think there's a pair of Timberlands here. Interesting.
He was
All right.
really
Yeah.
moving around the hospital, I guess.
Yes. Wow. I mean, he could go at a lick. I tell you that. Yes, let's get him back into the bed. Do you know... I'll consult my patient chart. I consult the chart. Is that indeed the bed that the patient belongs to?
Yes. Their little wristband thing that they give hospital patients matches the chart from the bed that didn't have a patient but probably should have had a patient in it. So you guys do take him back down to there and get him sorted out. And what we're going to do as we're getting ready to wrap up is we're going to cut to and say the end of your first shift in the ER comes to a close. Dr. Aegon, your surgery wraps up. Dr. Form, you probably chat and glare down in surgery a little bit more as you're chatting with Dr. Oliver. Bananas and Diaz, you all wrap up dealing with your escapees slash
Returning all the
sock
socks,
thief.
one by one.
Yeah. And we cut to the bar down the street that all of the doctors and interns and residents and stuff, nurses all go to after, because that is also a trope in every medical thing ever, is that exists. And you all enter into slash are already in this bar, kind of winding down from your first ER shift. So to kind of wrap up our pilot, kind of, maybe we'll have something again, who knows, episode. We are going to go around and give you all a moment to interact with each other, interact with any other NPCs that you want to. Everyone that you have interacted with today, I will say, who's not a patient, is here in this bar. So Dr. Oliver, Dr. Isabella, Ave, the EMT, Dr. Hot and Stuff, Dr. Omama, everyone is here in this bar. So it is yours to decide what you would like to do with.
I'm gonna go up to Dr. Bananas and I put my hand on his shoulder and I'm like, I think that it was the setting, and I think right now is the perfect moment. I just sent Dr. Omama a drink. Go say it was from you. And I just give him a pat on the back and send him that way.
I give
And
him
then
a nod and a wink.
I'm gonna go find Dr. Form and be like, let's watch this.
Okay,
You're
I
gonna get the poor
sidle.
kid hurt.
It'll be fine.
I'm just like I've got the Bee Gees on track in my head. Like, yeah. I roll up to Dr. Omama and I talk to the bartender who's just there. I like look him in the eye. I was like, pint of hard kombucha, my good man. Ah, that's the stuff. Oh, I see you received my libation.
Dr. Omama just kind of like gives you a little bit of a side eye while sipping from the like tall, fresh glass of Guinness that she's drinking. And you could, Dr. Foreman, Dr. Diaz, you can almost hear the internal sigh she's giving as she's taking a sip of her drink. She's giving Dr. Bananas a moment to figure out what he's going to do.
I take a sip and like, listen, doctor. I know I may have come across as brash and cocksure, but quite frankly, I was scared to death out there. I don't know what I'd do if it wasn't for your guidance, your wisdom. You really know how to keep a cool head when everything's falling apart out there, and that's something I'm interested in learning more about. Let me buy you dinner. My shout. We'll go to whatever restaurant you wish. I'd love to pick your brain, and maybe you could even give me some tips about how to get in shape, because, and I pat my belly, this old boy's grown a few new flaps since I last talked to him, if you know what I'm saying.
Okay. I'm gonna let you pitch to me what you think is your best stat foot forward for this role.
I'm gonna deliberately like fail. I kind of want to deliberately fail, but in a way that's like endearing. Like I strongly feel like comedy is the way to go, because it's sort of like that, but like the earnest kind of comedy where I'm putting myself out there. So if you deem that it's more necessary to do drama, then then that's okay too.
I mean, given the ridiculousness of the speech that Dr. Bananas just gave, I will allow comedy.
All right. Okay. Come on, Daddy needs a new pair of shoes. What is that? Oh, that is a 19.
So she doesn't immediately shut you down like she did when you tried to approach her in the supplies closet. She does take a moment and she takes a very long drink of her Guinness. Like it probably goes from being full to probably halfway before she puts it down. And she kind of like gives a sigh. And she's like, "How about this? You manage not to kill anyone for the rest of this week, and I will let you bring in lunch for us to have in the staff lounge."
Private lunch?
I mean, as private as the staff lounge can get.
You've got a deal, oh mama.
You drive a hard bargain, but this doc's going to start studying up on conventional medicine.
And
Cheers.
she actually like kind of gives you a genuine laugh at that while she cheers you. So you're probably not on the worst standing with her with that. I don't know that she necessarily takes you super seriously yet, but at least she's cracked a little bit enough to give you like an actual laugh, like she's actually enjoying whatever conversation she's having with you.
Okay. I laugh, I chuckle with her, I drain my hard kombucha, and then when I'm sure that she's not looking, I turn around to Dr. Diaz and Dr. Form and I go like,
I think you may have
and
just
so
saved
that
that
ends
guy's
Dr.
career.
Oh, someone needs to do it. You want to go talk to the rock star? And I'm going to walk towards Dr. Aegon and see how the surgery went.
Hey, Dr. Diaz.
Rock star. The superstar here, huh?
I wouldn't say I'm a rock star. You know, just doing the job that I was trained to do. And I mean, I had, under the tutelage of Dr. Jones here.
Yeah, don't be humble. You got in there.
I did.
Yeah, I heard Dr. Form was complaining all around the floor afterwards.
Yeah, and who'd you hear that from?
That's none of your business.
Right, right.
Why
And
would Dr. Form complain? Probably the best doctor here.
Hey now.
When you said when you all are talking, uh Ave at that moment like kind of like drops right into your group and is like, round of tequila shots for everyone. It's on that dude, and points at Dr. Oliver, who like just walked in. And the bartender like gets you all tequila shots, and Abe does not waste a moment and tosses them back, and does not wait to see if you all do either, and just puts it down and it's like, I saw that dude.
Yeah, I mean, I toss my back. I'm not going to turn down free drinks.
I think
Same.
Fallon makes eye contact with Oliver walking in. Is like there's like an apologetic like, sorry dog, and shoots it.
Dr. Agan will take the shot and then make a motion like the scar that Dr. Oliver has, but like, and I'll hold the shot out for him.
He like walks over and like points at you as you point at him and takes the shot. As you all are beginning what might end up being a tequila shot kind of night, um, couple shots in, the camera does pan a little bit. The Dr. Isabella Jones is off in a corner. And actually her preferred drink is a whiskey on ice. So she's sipping smooth whiskey on ice, enjoying her quiet. You do see across from her someone else who probably is also vaguely related to surgery, and they seem to be having some sort of debate going on as Ave and Dr. Oliver just kind of like ply you guys with tequila shots to celebrate your first day in the ER having been done. And with that crazy partiness, we kind of fade to the closing credits of Hart Hospital. You guys survived your first day, did not kill anyone, managed to
Today.
help some patients, possibly started a rivalry with like who's gonna be in the surgical position at the end of this. Welcome to Hart Hospital, guys. Maybe you'll have a great career here. Maybe we'll see what happens.
We're doing freeze frame or end credit scene.
Probably we'll say freeze frame, fade to black, credits. Like you all are having tequila. If we were doing a second episode, it would be a hangover the day after when you have to go back to the ER.
Get paged in the
Is
middle
it
of the
done yet?
night.
My face hurts.
Yes, the freeze frame is over.
Oh, thank God.
So that was awesome, everyone. If you want to give your character an epilogue, I will let you have a moment to give your character an epilogue. Um, Otherwise, I will talk to the voice above. Nekola, do you have anything that we need to uh drop mad lyrics to in this stream before we wrap up? All right. So when we go around and do this, if you do want to give your character an epilogue, go ahead and give your character an epilogue. Then, as Nekola mentioned, tell everyone where they can find you, drop your socials, brag about yourself, toot your horn, do all that good stuff. So we're gonna start with Dr. Diaz. If you would like to do a character closeout, you can. Otherwise, tell everyone where they can find you.
Hey there. I think Dr. Denny Diaz stays in the ER. I think he likes that. It's just enough. Um, But I think that's all for him. For me, I'm Adam. I had a great time playing here. I guess it's my second time playing here. It's a good time. If you want to see me play other stuff, play other games, come over to Five Gyms and a Trench Coat. You can find us at Five Gyms Official on just about everything, or at Five Gyms and a Trench Coat on anything else. On Blue Sky, which is like the new big app everyone's on right now. You can find us at Five Gyms Official. You can find me at Adam5GMs on everything. We are, as I said earlier, an award-winning and award-nominated podcast. We're a lot of fun. We rotate GMs, we rotate game systems. It's an awesome time right now. Our current release, we're currently releasing our third season, which is D&D 5e. But the 2 seasons we've gone before that were Fate Core, and then we just did Cyberpunk 2043, I think. It's a great time. It was a lot of fun. But yeah, overall, like I said, you can go find me at all those places. I do all kinds of stuff. You could also find me on some other live streams. I'm sure I'll be back on Diversity Saves at some point.
Awesome. And then we will toss it. I was going to say talk it. Toss it over to Dr. Aegon.
Dr. Aegon, I think, spends a fair amount of time pursuing both cardiology and Dr. Jones. But there's always been this other kind of side chemistry with Ave. And one morning, he doesn't show up for his shift and has run off to South America with Ave to join Doctors Without Borders. He just needs a bit more action that he's getting at the hospital. And he finally realizes that, Ave is the one that he was actually supposed to be with. So, as for me, you can find me everywhere at Gamesinabunker. I don't do a lot of playing. I am pretty much the forever GM most of the time, so I enjoy getting to play every now and again. And if anyone ever wants to play with me, I mean, I'm the old man of the group here, so I got 40, maybe 50 years left. That's it. So, form a line over to the right, maybe to the left, or both. That's fine. I can bring a lot of people in. So, but yeah, I love playing lots of different games and lots of indie games, and that's what I do at my store too. Is I just try to bring in as much indie stuff as I can because I love showing off the love for the small press stuff.
Awesome. And actually, I think with that kind of like epilogue to Dr. Aegon, there is a brief like scene flash of like rappelling down from a helicopter into a disaster zone or something. um, uh, or like a rescue mission type of scenario where you all are dropping down to get somebody out of like a remote mountain area. That seems like an appropriate scene for that. Dr. Foster Bananas, go ahead if you would like wrap up your character. Let us know where we can find you and what you have going on.
Okay, I think Dr. Foster Bananas lasts about a week more before he gets involved in a malpractice lawsuit. He then retires immediately from the medical industry and makes an absolute killing in the unconventional medicine and nutrition circuit, going on a bunch of podcasts, not the problematic ones, there are some good ones, and ends up hawking his own patent pending cookie that is both vegan, keto friendly, and gluten free. And yeah, the tagline is, of course, it's like the cookie that everyone can eat and nobody can enjoy. It's good for you, damn it. So that's, yeah, we wrap up on him like cutting the ribbon on unveiling his new cookie store. You can find me pretty much wherever you want to look. I would love to do more actual plays, more live plays. I'm thinking of getting into improv. If you'd like to find me on the socials, I'm on TikTok as Marlon Voiceover, all one word, where I occasionally update and post different voiceover stuff and impressions and impersonations. You can find me on Instagram as Marlon's Voice, all one word, where I update even less frequently. And you can find me where I actually do update fairly often on Blue Sky, which is still a good site as of this recording, at marlonvo.bluesky or .bsky.social. And if you'd ever like to hire me for any cartoons or animations or any other voiceover work, you can find me on my Linktree or reach out through any of the 3 social media sites that I've mentioned.
Awesome. And last but certainly not least, Dr. Form, what happens to you?
I feel like Dr. Fallon Form is the type to, over the course of 3 seasons in a movie, have a secret showmance with, you know, a number of NPCs that we see for maybe an episode or two. There's a very brief half season, I think, where there's something going on with Dr. Hottenstoof, and it's very not above board at all. But I think her and Oliver remain friends. We'll call it that. I've been Kit. You can find me most places on the internet at Kit Roll. I do have a couple of games coming up. You can find me over on Live from the Apocalypse. We are starting off Hasmus, the 12-ish games of Hasmus. In the next couple of weeks, I will be playing a delightful little game called The Night Before Cheesemas. We're playing Mouse Ritter. We're all cheese hungry mice, and we need to save Cheesemas from the house cat. It's gonna be a delightful little game. I'm playing a little rat called Butters. She's a pirate. It's a whole thing. But you can catch that on the 13th. For other shows and things that I'll be in, you can find me on, like I said, all of the socials at Kit Roll. And if you're sick of seeing my face but still want to hear my voice for some reason, you can check out Bloom and Blight. It is our Girl by Moonlight actual play podcast. You can find it where all podcasts are gotten. If you get a podcast a place and it's not there, let me know. I will put it there. That is a threat and a promise. If you want to keep up with all of our updates and stuff, we are about to launch season 2 in the new year. So you can find us on all of the socials at Bloom and Blight, all spelled out. And if you want show notes, transcripts, cast and character information, stuff like that, you can go to bloomandblight.com. There's also a link there for the community Discord server for Dareful Archives, our little podcast network. I believe that's all I've got to pitch at the moment. Back to you, Kayla.
I don't have a character to wrap up, so instead, what I will say before I do my little spiel is, if you enjoyed this game, if you enjoyed Diversity Saves, if you enjoy actual plays, etc., 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 and you would like to see more of that, we have a whole weekend of that going on, including tomorrow. We have 2 more games happening. Both are going to be the Kids on Bike system. One is going to be at 12 p.m. PST/3 p.m. EST, and the second game is going to be at 5 p.m. PST/8 p.m. EST. And if you enjoy my chaos and you want to see me do chaos as a player, I am actually in one of those Kids on Bikes games. I don't remember which one. Looking quickly, I think it's the second one. Nekola can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think I'm in the 5 p.m. Yes, I am in the second one. Thank you, Nekola. So if you want to see me playing a theater kid in a kids on bike situation, solving what might be some sort of mystery happening stuck in a theater, um, come join us and see if I can create just as much chaos while kick step ball changing my way through a mystery.
Fussy.
Yeah, jazz hands, jazz hands. Um,
I forgot one thing. Sorry, I forgot this this plug. I need to do this. I'm working on something with Rosetta Sun, who's also amazing. You can find her on TikTok. I'll be working on an animated series with her and her crew. You can find her at the Rosetta Sun, all one word. That's all from me. I'll shut up now. Love you all.
No problem. And thank you, Rosetta Sun. If I'm remembering correctly, you did donate earlier in the stream. Um, I am Kayla, DM Dalliance. You can find my socials via my Linktree link. Everything's there. Blue Sky, the social media that shall not be named, TikTok, my blog. If you want to join my blog, I sort of regularly while I have time post there. I also do freelancing. I freelance pretty much any system, but my favorites at the moment are the Cypher system, Monster of the Week, and Apocalypse Now. I work as the general manager for Underground Oracle Publishing. If you're a big fan of the Cypher system, we do a ton of that. We are actually publishing our print-on-demand full setting in Cypher here soon. We had previously kickstarted it, and the fulfillment is happening, called Haro the Blighted Plain. If you enjoy Treasure Planet and Waterworld as movies, the setting is essentially a fusion of those two things as a full playable setting. And then we also have a setting coming up after that called not Wildfire, I think Foxfire. We changed the name Wild Space to Foxfire, and me not fusing those names in my head into one that it is not. Which is like a Treasure Planet meets an AE setting. If you can't tell, the movie that Jess loves the most, who is one of our lead designers on it, I mean, probably guess it's Treasure Planet. It is in space. We have space corporations controlling sections of the space. If you want to go up against and defeat maybe like an Elon Musk allegory or a Jeff Bezos allegory, like play that setting. Keep an eye out for that Kickstarter for that. You can follow me on the socials. We're going to be doing a bunch of promos for both of those. We publish things like 2 or 3 things a month, which is ridiculous for 3 people when 2 of the 3 have full-time day jobs. And we're doing a bunch of things. You'll see probably postings about other actual plays I'm in, or we're looking for players in, and other things. If you want to have a little bit more chaotic fun with me, I am currently running a survey where if you want to provide some Mad Lib types suggestions, I'm going to be pulling suggestions from that bucket to do some fun things for the people who have followed me on Blue Sky. So if you want to add some Mad Libs for the sentence that I'm going to be pulling next, which is the micro setting, to force me to have to figure out how to design micro setting with whatever adjectives and nouns and things you add to it, go ahead and check out my Blue Sky. You can submit to the survey there and make my life more difficult if you want. I'll be pulling those and recording my live reactions to those for you all here soon. Otherwise, thank you all for joining us. It has been fantastic to play with all of you here today, and to have all of you join us on stream and in this chat. And I hope you join us for other games this weekend. If not tomorrow, I believe we also have another one running on Sunday that you can join as well. If you want updates on any of those, please follow the Diversity Saves Blue Sky, which I believe is diversitysaves.bsky.social. Um, and that will keep you up to date there as well. Nekola, voice in the sky. Final words, comforts, deliberations, debates, quandaries to pondery. Anything else? Yeah, so many games. See you all. Have a great rest of your night.